instead of banning, but maybe, Mr. White, if you want to explain. I know you asked us to look into it. I know there was, I got an email today, I talked to Karen. Our bond counsel was this, is it $20,000
Yeah.
more just to,
It just seems like there's a lot of resolutions that
Okay.
go through each of the ban item lists. At this point, they're saying that they don't need to know if we're going to ban a bond. We just need to get the list of equipment and the dollar amounts, which was, I think last meeting, Mr. White, we added an additional $120,000 for paving based on Larry Christian's request, and we got some new estimates for the sewer tank that was in there, so it's an increase from what was presented a couple weeks ago. So this needs to, get a decision if we're going to purchase these equipment, and then we'll need to make a decision whether we're going to bond or get.
just so I understand, so if I understand correctly, tonight is what we need to do is have that list, okay, the projects and the equipment on that list. Okay, but we still don't have to make a final decision whether we're banning or
Right,
bonding.
we should, we
This
need to
meeting.
know what, discuss it, which direction we want to go in. The bonding, they have to take each item from the list. The bond council has to determine like the useful life of it. Then there's got to be resolutions depending if it's a 3-year, 5-year, 10-year, 15-year. Also, the cost of bonding, I asked them to give us an estimate as opposed to banning. It's an additional $20,000 upfront money that we would have to pay out in 15, which wasn't budgeted for. So that's got to come into consideration with, any potential cost savings that the bond is supposed to manage.
I know I did speak with Karen this afternoon. I believe the number was around $20,000 extra. But just to do, and again, that's before we know the savings on if there's a savings. That's just a non-council cost, I believe.
Yeah, it's a cost, you have to go out and get a Moody's rating, and they estimate that to be like $13,000, and the cost for the bond counsel and the financial advisor doubles with a bond versus a ban.
Okay.
So it's actually attached to the handout that they provided me, and they kind of went through the pros and cons for issuing sewer bonds as opposed to banning.
Okay.
Yeah, well, obviously we just got this, so it's dated today, so.
This is the same list, this is the same list.
No, the email.
Yeah, the
Email,
email.
I think, what I requested at the last meeting was, I was saying, the question started with the budget process, where we discussed the financing aspect of purchasing capital expenditures for the town, from the standpoint of purchasing and paying for immediately, banning them over a short period of time, or bonding over a longer period of time. Then at the same time, as we started to explore that at the last meeting, there are other bonds or bans that mature in the next few, between now and June 30th, I believe. And when the specialist was here at the last meeting, we asked them to go back and say, make a recommendation, if we can put them all together and bond them from a standpoint, what would the savings be? And as far as the cost is concerned, when we rebonded, refinanced all the bonds before, it was always rolled into the bond. It was always amortized as part of the cost. So we never had to pay, it came out of the proceeds. So basically the cost is, it's not, the 20,000 that you quote, it's not going to hit this year. It's going to hit whatever period of time we bond. So if it's a 10-year bond, it'll be over 10 years. I mean, that's
for council. That's for council.
yeah, I mean, it's part of you basically, it's like the more you basically are financing the bonding cost at the same time. It's like your mortgage at the same time. Yeah, you're basically financing your closing costs, same as the mortgage type of thing. But the point came down to looking at it so we wouldn't have such a draining effect on our existing financial statements and considering how the last tax levy was. And then from the standpoint of looking at all these existing ones that are coming up to see if we could save over time that period. And plus it also, it sets it's a strict budget type of process now. So this way you know what's going to come every year versus taking lump sum hits in any year. Again, the example is doing a car loan versus a mortgage. There's a differential from that standpoint. There's a difference in the cost too, because the rate will be ultimately higher on a bond than a ban. But then there's issues with bans that, you know, they only have a certain life, and then we have an issue paying for them. And the irony of it is, the ban for the property on the garage is come up when we have to bond it now. So, you know, we easily say retirement payments, all these other things we've done over the last 4 or 5 years during a recessionary period of time, it's going to come back and hit us now. So instead of passing it back to the taxpayers at a bad time, we can clear that out over the subsequent years at a reasonable cost since the market's so low now. The Federal Reserve met today. They stated they will not raise interest rate before the end of June. And then if you know, the international economy is a total mess right now. So that was a concern that the bond council had last time. And also the bond council made a comment, or the bond advisor, whatever her role was, she indicated that we could agree to a dollar amount without indicating the items. So in essence, if you have a list of X, I don't know what the total list is.
I have it, yeah, it's increased to 920,000.
Yeah, so say we did $1.5 million, you know, we can go back and change later on before we bond it, and then basically you can go through the various things that come up. So we will slow the process down and change. It's not an all or nothing thing. It's not like if we don't agree to it today, we can't bond it, we can't ban it, we can't buy these items. So, you know, in my mind is that I like to get a threshold, throw out that we can always revise it downward if we don't, because we have to come up with a list. Because as she said, you have to go through and identify these items for bonding purposes.
Right, because once, if you're gonna go with a bond as opposed to a ban, they have to determine the useful life.
Right, but you don't need to know that today, you just need the approval for.
No, but if we are going to a bonding, we do need that.
They
That's not
need to determine the useful life so that they can do the bond resolutions and group all vehicles together, all of the same property types. Otherwise, they're saying that we're gonna have all these resolutions and, you know,
Well,
that's why you have to group them together. They need to determine, they're gonna average it. They're gonna, for each item, they have to, there's very specific questions and terminology. Bond counsel has to get involved. It's just a purchase of a car. They need to know, is it a replacement or is it new? And there's all these determinations that determine the legality of having one in the car.
Well, what was the outcome of the recommendation by the financial advisor, the bond advisor? I mean, they came last time, we didn't know they were coming last time, and today, we said, and she even said we didn't even have to make a decision today. Again, she said we can go reach for a higher amount, and then.
Well, you can put in for a higher amount, and you don't have to go out and borrow against it. But you at least should have approved the one that you think that.
That's what I just said, though.
Purchase.
I thought I said.
No, you can do more.
If I said that we can agree to a higher dollar amount tonight, it won't stop the process of these items. And then we just have.
Agreeing to these items, though, and then an additional.
Right, I agree. I'm not questioning these items at all. I'm questioning whether other things need to be rolled into this or other things should be added to this. That's what I
So
question.
you're approving all these items on this list.
I'm going to ask you a question, and I may sound dumb asking. So the list that we have in front of us, which is, what did you say, 923, which includes, you know, a truck, computer equipment, where else? The Jeep that we just did tonight, settling tank for the sewer department, another dump truck, a wing plow, and you guys see it. Again, this would normally go out to a 5-year ban. We pay as things drop off, like we put one on. Are you suggesting, and I'm asking this because I'm not sure, to bond this for the 10, 20, 30, whatever we
Yes.
decide to bond? But the only concern I have with that, listen, I want to save money, you know that. I'm all for saving money. I'm concerned that in 20 years from now, we're paying for a truck that we don't even own anymore. I mean, the lifespan of the truck, I don't know what it is, but I'm
10
sure it's
years,
not
it is mine.
Is it 10 years? Well, 10 years.
Yeah, I know. I mean, he's indicated numerous times.
So I don't want to be paying for a truck in 20 years that we don't even have.
We don't want to be paying for a truck in the next couple of years for something. I mean, the trucks are not cheap. They're not cars. They're $150,000 a shot. Every time we sit here and debate whether we should be buying them each year, we've knocked it out every single year in the last 3 to 4 years. I've been the biggest advocate in knocking them out. And only recently did we start to even throw some new vehicles.
Truck every year, I've been around.
Not
That's
every
4 or 5
6
years.
periods of time. We were fixing everything. But we need, and the police have the same issue. with the vehicles. So, you know, from a standpoint, we're talking about the financing structure,
Okay,
not the purchase side.
So, I know Larry, I don't know if you got Larry's list, you know, and a couple more trucks, 3 or 4 trucks. Another concern I have is purchasing everything in, you know, if we were to say, oh, well, let's buy 5 cop cars this year and 3 more trucks, and then they're all going to be dying at the same exact time, and you're not going to find them. But, you know, so, am I following correctly in saying that that's what you're kind of looking to say, hey, it's so cheap now, let's go buy all this stuff?
It's not Christmas yet, but I'm limited Christmas.
So what I'm saying is like you're saying, that I'm on the right path.
Yeah, I just
don't want to have to, you know, replace everything.
There are existing debt that's due or other responsibilities that we could roll into it. That was one thing we asked the council to recommend. 2 is extending the period of time to basically reduce some of the costs on that aspect and some of the burden to the town of each year's taxes increase. Now, for example, if we get more ratables through any of the potential things we have out there, then, you know, we're holding everything up now because we don't have those ratables, we don't have anything going on, but the taxpayers are getting charged the levy every year. So if all of a sudden Letchworth gets $20 million that we sell, you know, we sell the property and they develop this and it comes on the tax rolls, then you all of a sudden you're going to be getting a truck.
Okay,
So I'm just saying it's kind of like.
I have a couple of questions.
I'm going to just make a suggestion or a question or a comment here. That the equipment list that we have in front of us, the 2015 new capital project estimates, which is, it says BAM, let's forget that it says that. Are we all in agreement that these are the items, we have to okay this so we can at least start our ball rolling?
Yeah, that wasn't the question.
Can we do this tonight? Can we get this over, and then we'll decide if we're going to ban it or bond it at a later date?
But everything on this list were approved items previously.
Well, this is all on the agenda for 2015 equipment list on the agenda. Now, that's not to say there's numbers here, because this was projected to be banned, which would not affect the 2015 budget. This will affect the 2016 budget.
Jim, most of the items, like I would say 98% of the items were in the budget, the adopted budget. Okay. There's been some additionals, like the 120,000 additional that Larry requested for the paving recently, plus some increases, like I mentioned, for the sewer tank cost. Drove up the price compare it to what was in the adopted budget, but the majority, almost all of it, that's where the list came from.
I think just so that everybody understands what's going on here, right? The stuff that's on this list that we've been talking about, these are all things that are, these are equipment replacements. So this isn't, you know, us up here, you know, buying lots of stuff that we don't need and just for the heck of it. This is all stuff that we need to buy. A lot of it, some of the things we have put off buying because we've been living with an austerity budget for quite some time due to the economic downturn. So just as, you know, because we haven't been very specific about what a lot of the stuff is, just so you understand, I mean, these are all items that are, you know, are pretty essential to the various departmental operations, and a lot of the equipment needs to be changed out after a certain number of years.
You're absolutely correct in saying that. However, this is done every year. We ban money every year for our equipment. This is how we've been doing it for the last, I don't want to say 20 years, but as long as I've been here, and that's almost 10. So this is something, and these are all equipment. Yes, you know, you get a new truck. What happens to another truck? You know, you get rid of it because you need a new truck. You're not going to buy a new truck if you don't need it. So I know you like that, but new ones obviously. But, you know, so this is something that we do every year. You know, some years it's smaller, some years it's less money, more money, whatnot. But this is something we do every year, and we ban it. But the discussion here is that whether we're going to put it into the bond. And I get it, but I just want to make sure that we all agree that, or at least try and get moving along with this. Not whether it be banned or bond, but at least the equipment here.
But I think the budget impact will be the same under regional bond, so I don't think that's the issue.
That's my question, what's the difference in interest?
Well,
Do we know that?
No, because they have to go through each of these items and determine what the
So I think
useful
that's
life
important.
is,
Oh.
and they can't do that until they have a list, and then they have to put things together, and then they can give it to the financial.
But could we add to, like for instance, Larry's got some paving in here. We've got a number of roads and some other projects, paving projects in town that haven't been done in years. I mean, if we wanted to add to that line item for paving after this meeting, would we be able to do that?
Well, I think they want to, at some point, they're going to have to set the list, and you guys have to approve the
Yeah,
list.
but we don't have to do that tonight.
So-
We don't have to do it.
The only reason that we want to get this approved, the police vehicle, the purchase order was approved in the December 9th town board meeting. We want to make sure that we have a resolution.
Not to interrupt you, but just to let everyone know that that was because it was such a long wait for the truck coming in.
So we can't add to this list if we had to.
I'm sorry to keep
The
everything here.
resolution needs to be in place so that when invoices start coming in for the Jeep that just got, the PO was placed tonight, and the police car that was, the purchase order was approved in December, that there's a resolution in place for us, so when the bill comes, we can, we're allowed to pay ourselves back.
Right, that's the problem. We need to have this in order to reimburse ourselves. We can pay for the truck if it comes tomorrow, but without this resolution being passed here tonight, or at least before the bill comes, we have to have something around that we have approved this car.
Just have
Yeah,
one more,
wait, wait.
I have one more question. If the bond of the van, if we pay, let's say we have, you know, Jimmy's example, someone comes in here and buys his property, whatever, we come up with extra money. Can we pay off any of this earlier? Does that make sense or no?
Well, if you read page 3,
Both of them.
the bond, right, and I just got it too. The bond advisor put this together, and the cons of the serial bond were fixed payments allow for little payment flexibility. If additional funds become available, they cannot be applied to pay down the
That's
principal.
both of them or just the bond?
Serial bonds,
So a
right?
van you can pay off?
Yes.
Let me,
And it says that it's a higher issuance cost, and that the issuance cost should be budgeted for. So
Right,
that's
but you roll the issuance cost into the bond.
the way that they're putting it, the way that I interpret that was not.
Well,
It would have to be a-
Could I ask your recommendation?
My recommendation?
Yes, you as the finance committee. I value your recommendation.
I appreciate that, but honestly, I'm relying on we have bond advisors and we have bond counsels. And the impression that Beth Ferguson, who's here from the Capital Markets, was going with the ban. It wasn't their idea to bond.
But I just don't understand. She walks in last time, we were unprepared for her to come, and then we stated to her, go back and make, based on our, we're making the same conversation we did 2 weeks ago. And then we get this email today that says that she's not here today to ask these questions to, and you're referring to her too as being the one that's going to recommendation. So in my mind, if she was here, we'd have some more information. So why can't we just have her come to the next meeting, go forward with a higher dollar amount on this, these will be included, and they'll be approved, and then we decide if we're bonding and abandoning at the next meeting.
Okay, well, let's make that decision then at the next meeting, because we cannot, well, we can't wait any
We're going
longer.
around in circles, and we're saying the same thing.
Here's the deal, you know, I've been back and forth with whatever her name was last time. I know Karen's been on emails and phone calls with her since last meeting, and it's been, like you said, it's been going crazy. But, what was her name? I can't remember. Beth Ferguson was asking us, you know, she was confused with the questions that were coming from you. She didn't know what we wanted, so we were putting something together, figuring out what's more and less and this and that. And don't take this wrong way, you need to reach out to her and tell her exactly what you want, because there's the problem. She's not understanding exactly what you're looking for.
Subsequent to the meeting, there was emails exchanged, and Karen forwarded the email to her. She said exactly what it was. The questions were there. We said that from your meeting, you said that we could have a higher amount. Can you please look into the ones that are maturing, and can you make a recommendation to us of what would be the best scenario? I thought it was in those emails clear. This is a summary, and we have to sit in time to read this. But basically, if she refers to that, I'll reach out to her between now and 2 weeks, and we'll look at these comments here. But the point comes down to is that there are numerous other debt that is going to mature between now and a period of time, and that we could, you know, put it all together, and there's those opportunities. These are the things that they should be recommending to us. They should be coming to us and saying, hey, this is, you know, you guys should look at this, this, and this from that scenario. Should be, I mean, you're an advisor, and we turn around and ask them a question. To me, in my world, that question we asked them was a basic question. Hey, you know, I think let's go to another municipality. And, but again, as somebody said down that end of the table, is that if we did have the ratables now, we wouldn't have to, I wouldn't bond if we didn't have the ratables.
Right.
But we're not gonna have the ratables for the next 4 years, say. So I don't know if the, you know, from the standpoint of of the magnitude to do it, and we're gonna keep on pushing that on the
Okay,
public.
so let's make a decision. What do you want to do?
I would like to,
Make it a motion.
I would, well, the motion was to approve the 2015 capital project estimate list here. I would just like to raise this amount to like $1,250,000. And that gives us the opportunity to either look at other properties, other potential purchases or paving, whatever, or roll into any of the other debt that's not being considered here that we can do, including one of these things here, there's a banding, item number 5. I don't even know if that
Oh, yeah,
can be rolled
right,
into.
don't jump the gun, that's next.
I don't know if that can be rolled
No,
into
it
this.
can't.
No.
Okay, I can't.
No, but does that 1.25,
Can't be rolled.
does that 1.25, Jim, include the highway garage?
No,
No, that's a
So
separate.
that's
I don't know what you're
completely
talking
separate.
about there.
That's a half.
So on that 1.25, can we find out what is going to benefit, what is going to benefit the taxpayer more? All right, what are the options that are going to have greater benefit to the taxpayer? Is it a greater benefit to the taxpayer to take advantage of the lower interest rates and go with the bond or to ban? Is it a greater advantage to the taxpayer if we roll in some of the other expiring bans into a new bond? Like, we need to know, we need to be able to weigh what the cost is to the taxpayer. And I don't think that we have that information just yet. So if we can get that.
Okay.
Well, we have to
Okay,
bond.
well, we're gonna get the information, but here's how we gotta get it. We can't waste, and I'm not saying I'm involved in this. Well, we can't sit here for a half hour and talk about this something. These are things that we should know coming into this meeting, and we're gonna work on it. But guys, you gotta make phone calls. We gotta make emails, and I know the emails went back and forth. I know back and forth, I know you've been very well. For 2 weeks now with bond council. Let's all reach out to them so we don't come in here and look like we don't know what we're doing. That's what it looks like
Hold
tonight.
on. I think that all of us reaching out to the bond council is going to explode the head of the bond council. We need to have one person who is taking the comments and the questions from this board back to the bond council so they can put a memo together for us laying out the options and the answers to those questions. So that's what I would like to see happen. That's just my view.
I would make a suggestion that everyone on this town board make email Karen, and you can put me in the plan, we're all on email anyway. Copy of all town board with any questions that we need for council, and so we can get the ball rolling on this, okay?
In the meantime,
Good.
let's get
Because
this-
instead of sitting here and discussing this for a half hour, this is stuff that we can be discussing and come in here next month and just bang this
But
out.
in the meantime, we're going to build a list for the
Yes, I think you made that motion, right? So the list, and you're gonna add, are you adding the
1.25.
I mean,
I have to know why we're adding more money on it. And what I'm concerned about is, I don't want departments having a wish list because there's more money there.
Right, but
We would add additional paving, maybe, we would go, what Jim said, roll all the debt into this.
Right. Well, right now, if you go to the other item, it's right there, 370, and Tom's question is very valid, is that if you hit 370, which we got a bond. So if this was gonna be bond, then that right there, I mean, we got no extra money, but that's gonna bring us over to $1,250,000.
So you're included in that?
No,
I didn't include it, I didn't put it.
No, it's not.
But that's an example of the debt that can be rolled into a bond. That's in retirement, the next slide, retirement payout, the same thing.
It can't be, it's because one's tax exempt and one's not tax exempt, and I was told that both of them.
No offense to you, but both of you guys should be here at the same time, council and you, or the advisor and you. That, so we'll have those questions laid out, and you both, if she can present it to us, you can present it to us with our questions, and so we'll go around.
I'm going to make one more suggestion that we have a special meeting, I won't want to call it a special meeting. We should, if we get her into the town hall and get her on a conference call with the board members, so we don't sit here and look, I'm not saying we're all looking foolish, but this is something we should have more in line. So if we can set up a conference call where everyone's available to discuss and ask the questions and get it done, that way we can walk in here next month and be ready to go.
But isn't this open disclosure that people think we have all these private meetings about?
No,
Talking about-
conference call?
No, about
This is embarrassing to me, if you ask me.
I don't think so.
I'm
It's
embarrassed.
embarrassing. Is George, is embarrassing to you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
George, you have no comment?
If we had this in the executive session, would you come back at us and say we're having all these private meetings?
Let's get this number, and then we'll
There's been a motion to,
Any motion for me?
there's been a motion by Councilman White to, for the 2015 new capital project estimates for a total of $1.25 million.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All right. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilman
I
Seeley.
get to go first.
Get the lucky seat. All
Unfair. I pass, yes, stand on over there.
right, you got passed.
Yes.
Councilman Javits, yes. Councilman White.
Yes.
Councilman Martin.
I'm going to abstain.
Supervisor Finch.
No. You got it back, Tom?
Yes, yes.
And I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, are we, no.
Okay, the motion passes.
Yeah.
All right, motion passes for $1.25 million. You got it? All right. Okay, number 5, bond resolution for the retirement payout. This is also something, a retirement payout for March 2015, estimated $145,000 to be bonded. And this is number 4 on the capital market summary presented.
Three resolutions that any references to January 27th, changes dates to January 28th. Or they all say January 27th, right?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes. Madam Clerk, just in case, all of our resolutions are dated on the 27th because we were supposed to have our meeting yesterday. So if we could make a correction in that. Thank you, guys. Okay, this is for the $145,000 to be bonded for the retirement of police officer retiring in March.
What difference is that bond versus the bond we were talking about?
One is taxable and one is not. For the retirement, it has to be a separate bond issue. That's why when she presented, it was a separate item, number 4, 2 weeks ago.
That's the rationale, what she said. That's what she indicated? So it's not part of the, so, go on what you say then. I don't know anything to comment.
You take a look. This doesn't have to be done tonight, right?
I table it.
Karen, am I right?
Make a motion to table it.
Let's double check that it doesn't have to be done tonight. There's not a time frame on this from March.
No, it's just that the
Okay, so-
resolution's in place by the time they nominate the.
Gotcha, okay. So as long as it's tabled, Mr. White, yes?
Yes.
Everyone else, board, yes?
What's that, table?
Table. Number 6, bond refunding for 2005 series. The grant, this is, number 6. Bond refunding 2005 series for $187,000.
The savings was only.
Oh, I'm sorry. Savings was $187,000. This is something, remind me.
If you refund the bonds at a lower rate, the rate changes from 3.87 to 2.16, and you can save $187,000 a year. It's basically almost like $23,000 a year
20, yeah. It's not a year, 187, it's an overtime.
over the leftover life of the
Yeah.
bond.
All right, is this, something you want to table?
Well, yeah, we asked the question, we don't want to embarrass the public.
Table.
Conversation.
Don't take the wrong thing.
I mean, it does say right here, point blank, it says amount not to exceed 4.265, so I mean, this is the same concept of talking about not to exceed 1.25, you know? And what is the term of this bond?
All right, well, we can discuss with the council. Number 7, post-issuance bond.
Tabling that as well.
Yes.
Maybe no. The what?
Number 6.
Oh, number 6, I'm sorry.
5 and 6 are tabled.
Table, thank you.
Can't have a post issue.
Resolution for post-issuance.
We have
Would you like
a bond issue,
Would
we
you like
have to
to,
get posted.
skip number 8, table?
Yes.
I'm sorry, number 7. Number 8, get on with this now. All right, discuss highway garage ban. Well, maybe not. The room is empty. The highway garage ban is at the end of its ban life. The balance is presently $380,000. We either have to pay it by May 2015 or refinance it with a bond. Based on the bond advisor's advice, the ban should be rolled over into a bond.
That's in line on
Yeah,
part of item 6.
Number 9, surplus highway equipment. I am requesting that the surplus and sale of a vehicle
This is very controversial.
be placed on the January 27th agenda for your approval. Said vehicle is a 1999 GMC dump truck. Or dump. Proceeds from the sale will be allocated to the highway department restricted equipment line. I'll make that form of motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
See, with authority, folks. we
Number
can't
10,
do
go out to bid 2015 paving. I'll make a motion that we go out to bid for the 2015 paving, that Mr. Brisson has, I'm sure will have everything. Making a formal motion.
Second.
There's no paper. It's just to go out.
Give it how much is it going?
Larry, you don't have the street, you have the streets? No, okay. But you have a dollar amount that we have? What is that?
Well, it's minimum 1,000 tons of blacktop.
Okay,
How many, Larry?
1,000 pounds.
1,000 tons.
Okay, so usually we just get built on, correct? Okay.
Will that price cover if there's additional tonnage added?
Probably, yeah. They usually do, if they get it.
Okay, so, number 10, we've had a motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. Number 11, mosquito control, this is from the county, we get this every year, it's to spray. Article 19 of the Rockland County Sanitary Code, mosquito control requires owners of detention basins control mosquito breeding at such locations. The locations are Peabody Trails, Carlton Fields, Peterson Estates, Zachary Taylor, JFK Drive, Ryder Hill, and Lowland Hill Brush Yard. During the 2014 season, we contracted with the Rockland County Department of Health to provide control services at the above. I said that. Should you wish to continue this service for 2015, please complete and close. Anyway, it's for $5,000 and make a motion that we hire the County of Rockland for a total of $5,000 to control the mosquito.
Can I ask, what are they doing?
I don't know, but it's cost us more. I remember years ago, we used to do it ourselves and it ended up costing us more money. And
Drop tablets in the catch basins.
They drop tablets and retention basins.
yeah, but they spray too, Larry, with the mosquitoes, correct?
Right,
No. Like the one on Peabody Trails, that's on 210?
right.
Big field where it's all growing and stuff.
They spray it.
And we have to do it. And I guess, do they do that more than once a year or twice a year? How often is that?
I think it's once a year.
Okay.
All the business.
Okay, I made a motion, can I get a second?
Second.
There's been a motion and a second, any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries. And number 12 is to discuss exit 15 sign. We have, no, there's been emails back and forth. Yeah, there's been emails back and forth, the welcome to Stony Point sign, like we have at exit 14. Don't worry, not a Lincoln sign.
It's flashing, it's great.
Flashes,
Very LED lights.
cannons, and guys shoot guns.
We have, I know, there's the one here,
Which one looks like they,
well, this is the exit 14, the one with no black on it. The only thing I was gonna suggest is that if you're looking at the two of these signs, I do like the black, but I understand if we all wanna keep it with the same thing here, but when I'm looking at the one that's at 14, when I'm looking at it, I can't really, it's not jumping off of what it says. When you look at this one, you see historic Stony Point right away.
Can I offer a
Yeah, bigger.
compromise?
Right?
Can I offer a compromise?
Absolutely.
Have them use the 14 design,
Well, let me get this out here so I can write.
okay? Have them use the 14 design with the welcome to Stony Point in the configuration that you have on the top.
Like this, just on this second.
Yeah.
So we're not just this.
Use this,
I agree.
this
That's
sign
fine. Yeah.
and put this letter, basically.
Because it does jump off the page a little more.
Yeah, I mean, and look, you know, my thing with all this is that it's high time that we establish some sort of consistency with respect to the look and the feel of our signage. And so I think that, you know, there are a lot of people who put a lot of hard work into going through the fonts and the design and the colors and everything for what was put up at exit 14, and I think there should be consistency with exit 15, and then also some of the signs that will be used for the beautification program, so that, we just are trying to establish some sense of continuity across the town rather than kind of hodgepodge.
Just so I show, this is what we're talking about right here, going in here, in here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, if you want to stop by, I'll give you exactly how it draws, and we'll do that later. What's that?
Wait, you didn't understand that? You didn't understand that sign language?
Refer to attached document.
So
We'll get you another
Really don't need
rendering.
it, but we can.
I think it's, and I do think that it's important, particularly as we move forward with the beautification program and other stuff, that if we're going to be faithful to a set of design standards for this type of stuff, that the board does approve the signage before it goes up and goes into production. So I will move. Well, they've already been through this, through the beautification committee, and then I believe the ARB back in 2013 was involved in largely the same one. It's more or less the same one that's up, which is a minor modifications makes this Stony Point a little bit larger. So I would move to accept the design as amended to include, how are we going to do this?
Just make Tom, just make the larger, well, historic Stony Point.
Okay, with the larger historic Stony Point lettering on the front, but the overall design and layout that is the same as the exit 14 signage.
A second motion.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion to go into executive session, discuss litigation in Article 78.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.